Got music?
No. Here, hang on. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sully squad. We got a little bit different of a squad tonight. A lot of the guys are out, so I got our man Austin filling in from the attacking third show. You can check him out.
Also known as Attacking the Third, Attack on the Third, you name it, it's been named it by everyone but me.
Okay, and that is on it's Thursday nights now, correct?
Yes, sir. Thursday nights, 9 p.m.
All right, so we got my man Austin from the Union Show checking in, filling in. I got my man John Lieb, aka the Mush, hopping on.
How's it going, y'all?
And we're gonna have a special guest at around 6:30 from Bell and the Birdman. We got Vince Quinn hopping on, so we're gonna get into. I guess we'll probably talk some Eagles. We'll talk Phillies and Eagles with Vince, but Vinny. But anyway, we'll have him hopping on around 6:30. So, I guess we got a lot to get into here. Obviously, I want to get a lot of Eagles talk, but unfortunately, it was a lost weekend up in New York. The bats went cold. I mean, the Phillies got great pitching. Well, not really yesterday. Wheeler was kind of off yesterday. But Suarez pitched a great ball game on Friday. And then Nola gave up one run and they lost, So,
Yeah.
Austin, what was your impression with this weekend's games other than the bats went silent?
Honestly, that was the main thing for me, was seeing the offense sort of stagnate in what I consider a very key series. At the point that we're at right now, like, you need to be able to top these teams that are just slightly above you in the standings to not only try and creep closer to being able to make yourself have a push late in the season for the division, but also to maintain your position where you are in the wild card. And this with the way the bats were going and everything, this looks like a very easy series for us to be able to walk into and just be able to at least take 2 of 3. But for some reason, once that heat wave broke, the Phillies offense cooled off just right along with it.
Yeah, I mean, they had two runs in the last 4 games. You know what I mean? I mean, it's and before that they were red hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, part of that could be Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber getting hurt obviously didn't help.
That's big.
Yeah, him being out hurts. One encouraging sign though was Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper was posting today on social media. He's out there taking some swings. So I mean, if you could get Harper back in this lineup. In like 2.5 to 3 weeks, that could be, obviously that would be huge,
Yeah, that's what the optimism is. It's going to be about roughly 2 or 3 weeks. He's starting his BP today, but hopefully in the next, by at least, I would hope this time next week, he'll at least get a minor league start or 2 in before they consider bringing him back.
Yeah, John, I want to get your perspective. I just want to get some of these comments real quick. We got our man Mike Lauro from the Gobbler Show on
What's up, Mike?
Sundays, and also you could check Mike out on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on the Out of Box Network, Big Mike's Locker Room. It's a really good show. Got our man Mike Fuji, Joe, Sean, and the fellas. Well, no Sean tonight, Mike, but thanks for checking in, and we're going to spit some fire. Mike says give his best to Vince Quinn. And our man Chris Thiedrich, you could check him out on the UFC show. He thinks you're sleeping. No, he's actually awake. He's actually awake.
I can't see my eyes.
For now.
He's just upset about the wiffle ball game still.
And we got our man Al Zafiri at Philly. Sup, boys? How you doing, Al? Thanks for checking in, bro. And our man Pat Bernard the Gobbler. What's up? Hey, Pat, what's up, bro? How you doing? Check Pat out 9 a.m. on the Gobbler Show at Philly Sports.
And you'll see him with me Thursday night because Gus will not be available, so it'll be me and Pat breaking down the Union FC Dallas match on Wednesday.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you could see Pat like everywhere.
The Steel Steps podcast, the Dev Gaming Classic,
you could see him at your local food venue.
Yeah, more than likely see him at your local Wawa.
And we got our man Gary Groob. Hey guys, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in. And we got Pat again. Yes, Pat's like, what was that? Remember Remember back in the day. I mean this as a compliment, but I got to throw a little shot out at Pat though, real quick, because it's kind of a compliment too. But remember when they had the East Coast West Coast stuff, and Suge Knight was like, "There goes Puffy" on all the videos, right? That's like Pat the Gobbler. There goes Pat on all the shows. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But John, what was your perspective for this week?
It was a little disappointing with how hot the Phillies have been to not come up against one of our biggest rivals, the Mets, and have their fan base get some joy this past weekend. But it's like any baseball season, you're going to have these series where it's ups and downs, and I think they bounce back. You know, they got the Reds coming up, and I think they bounce back against the Reds. And the good thing is, right after the Reds, we got the Mets coming up again here, and I think it's going to be a good series when they come back here and the Phillies get some revenge.
Yeah, and I feel like Cincinnati's going to be a big way to bounce back because they're a very bad team this year. And
yeah, I think
you need to get one of those in the midst of this to be able to sort of just give yourself like a quick breath to be able to be like, okay, we can win ball games again. Let's just go out.
Yeah, I think once the swings start coming again, you know, they're going to sink right back into how they were playing before. So I mean, there's really nothing to seems alarming or really to worry about at this point. But
I just want to take a quick second. There's someone who's watching that isn't really active in the actual chat. Big shout outs to my mom. She's been very supportive of me doing this, along with everything else I've been pushing to try and do recently, and she's been an amazing piece of support for me with everything that I've been having to deal with in my life. You know, my dad passing and all that stuff. She's been a very solid piece of my life, and I just want to give her a quick shout out. Mom, I love you. Pretty sure all these guys here appreciate that. You know, you made someone like me who gets to walk around with this thing all god dang day. And just wanted to give her a quick shout out because I feel like a jerk and a crappy son because I haven't done it until now. But love you, Mom.
Hey man, it's all good. Shout out, shout out to all the moms out there. You know, shout out to Austin's mom. Thanks for checking in.
Big mom guys over here.
What's that?
Big mom guys over here.
Oh yeah, you know it, man. And Pat's got a comment here because I'm kind of taking Pat's. I mean, the bats obviously I'm disappointed in, but I'm kind of taking Pat's point of view here, where Pat goes, everything was good up until yesterday, and that's kind of where I'm going with this because I know we lost 2 out of 3, and obviously that's very disappointing. But just the simple fact that Ranger Suarez and Nola went toe to toe with Scherzer and DeGrom was very encouraging for me because if the Phillies get pitching like that, they are going to be, the bats will come around. You know what I mean? Because this Phillies lineup is way too talented to go to, like we say, like it's kind of like the ebb and flow of the season. Like I know the Nationals totally suck, but like the Phillies were pounding the shit out of the ball last week.
Yeah.
Right. So odds are that was going to stop. You're not going to be scoring 10, 11 runs a game. You know what I'm saying? So I was encouraged by the pitching, honestly. I'm taking the glasses half full view of this weekend.
Yeah, that's why
I'm right there with you.
I don't really see anything to be alarmed with. I mean, it was just, the bats just went full this weekend, and it's not like they're not going to come back around with this team. I mean, there's way too much talent on this team for them not to be able to hit the rest of the season. So
100% agree.
It is what it is. You're not gonna win every single baseball game.
Exactly. And I feel like that's the main thing that like the team has to keep in their mind is like it's a 162 game season. These 3 are not going to determine how the rest of the way is going to go for us.
Yeah, that's why.
And then you have a bottom feeder coming in like a Cincinnati where you're just like let's just tear these guys apart and then go right back to the Mets and give them what they had coming to them over the weekend that we couldn't do.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies, when the Mets come here, if the Phillies I don't know if they'll do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep that series against the Mets.
I would love for a sweep. 2 out of 3 is going to be perfectly fine with me. But if we can send the Mets packing without anything on their belt,
I think it's a 4-game series when they come here.
Oh,
So
Yeah, I believe there's a double header on Saturday. I mean,
that's right. Yeah,
hey, 3 out of 1 would be great,
dude. Yeah. Honestly, a split would be cool, but I would feel like that we left something on the table if we split.
I'll be honest with you. The way the Mets are playing ball, I'll take a split. But we got Pat here. He brings up a point: no runs in the last 18 innings. We got Mike Fuji says the Phillies just got to stay consistent and take care of business. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Our own Matty B, you could check Matty out on Tuesday nights with his show, and also he does the Fightins Final. It's a great show. He wraps up every Phillies game, so make sure you give him a like and a listen. But he brings up a point here. I'm assuming he's probably being sarcastic because he says averaging 9 strikeouts per game, not alarming. I mean, he's got a legit point. This team does strike out an awful lot, and also to Pat's point here, left 10 guys in scoring position is a missed opportunity, and that kind of goes into what Matt's saying with the strikeouts. I mean, yesterday I believe it was 1-0, and the Phillies got a couple guys on base. I think it was like first and second, nobody out or something like that, and they just came up, and I think Castellanos struck it, or I think Bone struck out Castellanos. I don't remember exactly who was up, but they had like 2 or 3 strikeouts in a row. And, that's the thing, man. When you're not, I'll always disagree with somebody that says, I remember when Ryan Howard was here, and, I'm a huge Ryan Howard fan, but I remember when people would say, oh, there's no difference between striking out and putting the ball in play. And I totally disagree with that because
100%.
There is a thing as a productive out. You know what I mean? Like you hit a ground ball. How many times back in the day in baseball, like you get a guy, you hit it, you get the say a guy gets the second, right? And there's nobody out. It's a productive out to hit a ground ball the right side, move him the third.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you're striking out, you're not doing shit, so you putting the ball in play is an important thing. Matty B's got a really good point there, and I totally agree with that.
I feel like that's one of the things that I would like to see this team do more is try and do a bit more small ball stuff, because a lot of our guys are what are considered in the baseball world as a 3-result batter, where they're either going to strike out, they're going to walk, or they're going to hit for extra bases. And we're not seeing a lot of a guy gets on second, bunt it down the first base line, let that or down the third base line, depending on what hand the hitter is, let that runner advance to third, and then all you have to do is hit a pop fly into the outfield, and you get a run. So I mean, like it's a lot of the simple stuff that like we were taught coming up as kids, that like the game has just completely changed just in the last 20 years of how the game is played overall. Because like a lot of these guys now, like you look at some of the guys we have: Hoskins, Schwarber, Castellanos. Castellanos is an amazing average hitter, but the majority of the time he's going to be one of your 3-result guys. He's either going to hit something deep, he's going to strike out, or he's going to draw a walk.
Well, look at the time from the 08 run.
That's what I mean.
Just completely different from that time period.
Yeah. And even before then, because I'm saying in the last 20 years, just from 2002 to now, the game is completely different. Like the only guys that we had throwing like over 100 miles an hour were usually like short relief guys, like a Billy Wagner, those kinds of guys. And now you got guys like DeGrom and Verlander coming out there, and like they hit the 6th, 7th inning, they're 110 pitches deep. They're still throwing the biggest pieces of heat that anyone's ever seen. Whose phone? Lieb.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I mean, like back in like the early like I said, like back in like the early 90s, even to the late 90s, early 2000s, like you had guys you had guys like well, for instance, like Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, like they didn't throw necessarily gas, but they really knew how to pitch. I mean, they could keep the corner like nobody's business. You know what I mean?
Them guys like Jamie Moyer, like all those guys were like, it wasn't about velo, it was about where you place the ball on the plate. And granted, you're still getting that. You're still getting amazing pitches that are just hitting, like painting the corners, painting the edges beautifully. But you're seeing a lot of, especially like the middle relief guys that have to come in when a game's getting out of hand. Like these guys are throwing serious heat, but they're not throwing it accurately. So like there's a bigger risk of potential injury with guys throwing like between like 98 and 101. And one of those can get away, hit somebody in the head, and then you lose a guy for Lord knows how long because of concussion protocol, because he took a 101 mile an hour beaner to the dome. So like it's just really strange. Like a lot of these pitchers nowadays are dangerous and not in a good way.
Yeah, Pat Bernard with an interesting question here, which I totally he's not really, he's asking, but he's saying, what do you guys think about Rhys Hoskins comes up cold in big games? Was it a missed opportunity not moving on from him? Totally, you can't move on from Rhys right now. I mean, for perfect example is look at this lineup right now. I mean, this lineup is, without Schwarber and without Harper, I mean, you need Rhys in that lineup. Yeah. And also, Rhys is what he is. He's always going to be a streaky guy. If Rhys is hot, he'll carry you for like a solid week or two, and then he'll be cold for a week or two. This is what he is. But if you look by the end of this year, Rhys is going to have over 30 bombs.
Yeah, he's already at 24.
That's what I'm saying.
This is actually one of Rhys's best years.
Yeah, it really is. Statistically, it's like one of his best seasons of his career. And I personally think he'll finish at 35 plus for homers. There's still plenty of ball left to play.
If we get to the playoffs, we don't need him to go cold then.
Yeah. Chris responded to Pat by saying, if we trade Rhys, who's playing first base? Pat's response is Derek Hall. Like, I love Derek Hall, but I feel like he's more of a DH guy. Personally,
yeah, and Matty B with the perfect. This is what we were touching on earlier. To his point, he says baseball is still pretty simple: hit the ball, catch the ball, wash and repeat. The Phils have struck out 1,021 times in 114 games. There's a problem there. I agree with you, Matt. He's right. It is a problem, and anybody, we can talk about analytics and all this bullshit until we're blue in the face, but I'm sorry, I am never going to agree with it. I don't give a shit. I'm not interested in dudes with calculators and numbers and stuff. I go with what my eyes tell me. And I remember back in the 80s, I'm showing my age a little bit, but I remember back in the 80s watching the St. Louis Cardinals, and you had Vince Coleman, Willie McGee. They had one big bopper. Yeah, Ozzie Smith. They had one big bopper who was Jack Clark. Jack Clark would hit you like 35. He was the only power guy in the lineup. That team won a lot of baseball games, and I don't give a shit when anybody says if you put a lineup like that together nowadays, that team would also win a lot of baseball games.
Oh yeah,
they would. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think you do need power in today's baseball. I think you would need more than one home run hitter. But it kind of goes to the point. Though. If you have guys getting on base, hit and run, base stealing, I don't give a shit. 2022, 1987, it's still a recipe for success. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't need a calculator to tell me that shit. I know what I watch. You know what I'm saying? Good pitching and good defense with that will win you ball games.
Yeah, and one of the guys that like I've had an eye on for the past few years, like still I feel lives and breathes small ball style play is I think he's with the Yankees this year. Tim Locastro. He used to play for the D-backs. This guy cannot hit a ball to save his life, but he can draw a walk with the best of them. And the second he's on the base paths, he's a problem.
Yeah, and that adds a lot. You know what I mean? Like the Orioles have been playing great baseball. They got a guy, I believe his name's Mateo, and you're right. Tim Locastro is with the Yankees now. But the Orioles have a young kid named Mateo, and I think he leads the American League in stolen bases.
Yeah, he does.
And so I was watching like an Orioles Red Sox game, I think like last week or whatever. Because I have the MLB.TV. I think the Phillies were off. The Phillies played the daytime or something. And I was watching a little bit of the Orioles game. And this kid gets on base. He immediately steals second. They get him to third, and they stole a run. And that's quote unquote old school baseball, but it works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like this is again us being a bit older and seeing how the game has changed. It's not even that it's considered old school baseball. It's what we would consider fundamental baseball.
Right.
The simplest possible thing, dumbed down as easily as possible for anyone to be able to do. And it's just, for some reason, it's been brushed off to the wayside for wanting to see guys just hit 450-foot bombs. Which, don't get me wrong, I love seeing somebody absolutely barrel something up and just launch it into orbit. But at the same time, like, I want to be able to see, like, okay, you've got a runner on second, nobody out, you're down by a run, 7th inning. lay that bunt down. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Like, be willing to sacrifice an out to be able to get a guy 90 feet from home instead of 180. Like, it's amazingly simple, and you just don't. It's sad to see that that's the style of game that we're seeing nowadays, but it's also very exciting. So like it's that weird kind of balance between like, should I complain about it a bit and show my age, or should I just enjoy it like everyone else and not say a word? And it's kind of tough to be sitting on that fence personally.
Well, don't you think a lot of it has to do with money too? I mean, because I mean, let's be honest, right? So
they're not paying Castellanos the money they're paying him to lay down a goddamn bunt down the third base line. Like, it's not happening.
Well, right, but it also goes into too, like, if you hit, if you're hitting, say you're a guy, if you hit 15 home runs, there's a hell of a difference between 15 and say 25 to 30. You're talking maybe 5-6 million at least more a year.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys, I mean, if you're up there and you're like, you know what, I could get this guy over to second, but fuck that, man. You think to yourself, damn, I got like 500 at bats. I'm trying to get my 25 dingers. You know what I'm saying?
Like I can either move this guy to third, or I can swing free and potentially get him from second to home. So like,
right.
Like the mentality definitely is different when you're in the box nowadays, which I really don't mind. Like, if you're a hitter with a killer's mentality and you want to go up there and kill, by all means, kill. But at the same time, like, it's just that weird, like I said, it's that weird fence that I'm sitting on. Like, I still like to see old school style baseball, like fundamental small ball stuff. But at the same time, like, if you can barrel one up, dude, pardon my language, but fucking go for it. Like,
yeah.
Have fun, dude. Because at the end of the day, like, you're playing a game. So, like, have as much fun as humanly possible while you're doing it.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, is that, like, it's not fun to strike out, when you're striking out 1,021 times. Then
take it from me. I struck out twice in a wiffle ball game.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're getting a lot of nice wind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feel
Dude,
the breezes
I created. Everybody needed to look out.
Yeah, Pat. I'll let John. You can answer this question if you want. It says Pat says, do you think Rob Thompson needs to make some adjustments to the lineup for the next go around versus the Mets? What do you think?
No, I don't think that he needs to do any adjustments. Then again, maybe you see how the Cincinnati series goes, and then you make your decision based off of that. But for now, I wouldn't make any adjustments. I think these guys are going to come back around, and I mean, if they struggle again against Cincinnati and the bats are still kind of cold, then maybe you do the adjustments, but I would leave with what's been working so far. It's one series that they didn't really come around, so it's not time to panic yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, if they struggle against Cincinnati again with the bats, then maybe you try to change some stuff around, moving some guys that are maybe at the top of the lineup, maybe moving them down a little bit, go from there. But I would just see how this series goes first.
Actually, I have to find it. They posted the lineup for game 1 tonight. I just have to find it.
Yeah, I'm looking. Well, I mean, the other thing is with Schwarber being out, you're kind of hamstrung because what are you really going to do? I mean, Schwarber is your leadoff guy. I know Bryson Stott. By the way, Bryson Stott reaching base 4 times for Scherzer. He's the only guy in baseball to ever. That was a serious bright spot on Friday night.
Yeah, for him to be able to tag Scherzer the way he did was very impressive.
Yeah, Mike Lauro suggests drop Reese to 7th. I don't know if you can really do that though, man.
I don't like that.
I don't
That's
know,
too far
Mike.
down. That's
Yeah, I feel like it's too far down.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Sometimes I'll use the old Aaron Rodgers philosophy. Relax, right? Remember a couple years ago, everybody was panicking in Green Bay. He's like, relax. Then they went on like a huge ass winning streak. It's the ebbs and flows in a baseball season. I mean, let's keep it real. As much as I hate them, I hate the Mets almost on a Dallas Cowboys level hate. You know what I mean? As far as for baseball, they're definitely my most hated rival. But unfortunately, the Mets are playing some great ball, and you went against Scherzer and DeGrom, who were like freaking. They're two of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, they will make you go into a slump. Those two guys.
So I did find the lineup really quick. I just want to get that in there before we have Vince Quinn come in. Leading off is Stott, Hoskins at 2, Bohm at 3 is the DH. Real Muto catching, batting 4, Castellanos 5 in right field. Segura is at 6. We're having Sosa play 3rd tonight, batting 7th. Marsh in center field batting 8th, Vierling in left batting 9, and Syndergaard's on the mound.
If you move Reese down, I would only move him to like 4 or 5, maybe.
Yeah, I would probably move him down to 5, bump Real Muto and Castellanos up.
If you're going to move him down,
keep him in that. I consider that like the power area between 2 and 5. Keep him in that space because that's where he's the most comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, remember we tried to have him bat leadoff a couple years ago, and it wound up not going great at all.
Yes.
Well, here's some good news for tonight. Now, I don't know if I'm quote unquote John leaving the Phillies right now, but it says right here the Reds have lost 9 straight games started by Mike Minor. He is trying to avoid becoming the first Reds pitcher to start in 10 straight losses since Homer Bailey started 11 straight team losses in 2018. That season, the Reds went 1-19 in Homer Bailey starts.
Which is a shame because Homer Bailey was actually a really solid pitcher. He just had no offense behind him that year, and it was really bad.
Yeah, so let's hope the bats wake up tonight. Oh, Pat Bernard.
No.
Move
Stop it. No.
Stop it, Pat.
Nah.
Pat, you're clueless.
Even moving him, I feel like moving him to 6th is a bit of a stretch.
That's why I said if you're going to move him, you do it to 4 or 5. You don't move him down to 6.
Yeah, you don't move him that far down because then you have guys like Brandon Marsh batting ahead of him. No,
I think he would be worse if he was down that low.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing that. Yeah, Pack. We know you're talking about Reese, so we know. All right, so we got 3 with the Reds. What's your guys' take? Because I want to move on I want to move on to the Eagles in a little bit. But all right, so let's do this real quick. So we got 7 games coming up before I'm back on this show next Monday. Phillies got 7 games. So we got 3 with the Reds, 4 with the Mets. So are we going to say they have a bounce back series with Cincinnati? Or are we looking sweep? Are we looking 2 out of 3? And then I'll tell you. I'll just tell you what I'm looking at. I'm looking for. I hate to say it, but I'm looking for 2 out of 3 versus Cincinnati, even though I think we should sweep. I have a feeling the way we're playing right now, the bats are kind of cool. I feel like we're going to find a way to drop one of these. So 2 out of 3 with Cincinnati and a split with the Mets, which isn't the greatest week, but that'd be 3-2. But then after that, you have some lesser opponents coming up again. So I'm looking at a 3-2 week.
Being able to win the series against the Mets and get being able to win the series against the Reds and get a split with the Mets would be actually very good.
Yeah, actually, and
you're getting more than 50% of the games won. So I feel like it's better for your positioning. It's really good for being able to maintain your spot in the wild card. With San Diego starting to surge a little bit, you want to be able to hold that ground as often as you can.
Yeah, and you know what? I was talking shit on guys with calculators, but obviously my math's a little off. I meant a 4-3 week. I'm like 3-2. I'm like, wait a minute, where did I go for math? You know what I mean?
A couple of the games I just decided not to play. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I need to count. Maybe I need to count. The count. What is it? The count from
Sesame Street.
Yeah, the count from Sesame Street. You know,
7 games.
What's your prediction, John? The next 7.
My prediction is they go 2-1, 3-game series against the Reds, 2-1, and then I say I'm going with the Met series. If it's not a sweep, 3-1.
Ambitious, to say the least. Pat, stop this.
Yeah,
that would literally mean that Brandon Marsh would be right behind Hoskins in the lineup, and as good a contact hitter and mild speed guy that Brandon Marsh is, you do not want Hoskins batting ahead of him. If anything, if you decide to make that move, you could put Marsh ahead up higher in the lineup at 2 and then bump everyone down 1 so that guys like Castellanos bats 6, Real Muto bats 5. Like that would definitely make sense. But you can't drop a guy with the power numbers that Hoskins has that low in your lineup.
Mike Lauro said, thanks to Lee. He just mushed us.
Appreciate it, bud.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, yeah, I want to move on to some Eagles because I know I believe Vinny's coming on in a little bit. But before we do real quick, let me just give a shout out to wait, hang on one second here.
Oh, yeah, the sponsors.
Yeah, before we do, let's just give a shout. Oh, here we go. Actually, we got Vinny now. Hang on a second.
There he is.
Hey,
Yo.
what's up, man?
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a little while. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good to see you, man. Yeah, no, so we got our man Vince Quinn. He does the podcast with John Borchert, the Bell and the Birdman, and obviously your big shows are coming up now. It's we're heading into football season, so it's time to get down to business, right?
Oh, that's right. I mean, JJ Whiteside's getting dealt, guys. This is big time shit.
Joel, we out.
Yeah, no more J-Joel. Yo, Howie making moves, man. Yo, I mean, what's funny is I would have taken like a box of pens for J-Joel, and if Howie actually got something for him.
Yeah, they got like an actual person, right? Seriously.
Laces for J-Joel.
Why can't we do that with Rager?
But it's all about guaranteed money with Rager. But the whole thing's a joke, isn't it? Like, what are they keeping this guy for? He doesn't contribute anything to the team. He's not a good player. He's not a good special teams guy. Like
can't they just admit they made a mistake with him? Why can't they just admit?
Because that would be Howie admitting defeat in some way, and he never admits defeat.
He stinks.
I don't know, man. I mean, they did just get rid of Wentz and eat like $35 million, so they'll admit some defeat here and there. And like the other thing is too, when you think about getting rid of Rager, the big thing for me is like, okay, right now, yeah, it would look bad, but the guy sucks. He's not going to get any better. It's not going to help you during the regular season. And when you're looking at the rest of the team, like Jordan Davis looks great. Cam Jurgens is kicking ass out there, and Nakobe Dean looks awesome. So for all those guys to look good, like you get rid of Rager, it's not like, oh my God, we're a terrible team and we have nothing, and now this first round pick's a bust. It's like, all right, let's get ready for the season. Rager's gone. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're going to be
it's
revved
not like
up.
that whole thought of like, oh no, our receiver core is trash now. Jalen Rager's gone. Like, we have AJ Brown. I don't care.
It's crazy. I mean, the depth just across the board is so much better than it was. Like, Greg Ward is a guy that belongs on, like, a lot of teams in the NFL. I don't think he makes the team this year. And it's not an indictment on – yeah, right? Like, I like Greg Ward. I think he's a really strong player. But I mean, ultimately, you've only got so many spots for so many guys, and I just don't see a place for him. So, yeah, they've gotten so much better. And, like, Rager, he doesn't deserve one of those spots.
No.
Yeah, our man Mike Laura is giving you a shout out, Vinny. He says, Vinny Quinn, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Mike?
And we got a comment here from a Jay Brown. He says, J-Joel's trash. Well, yep, we're all kind of in agreement there, bro.
I love how StreamYard translated the trash bins to look more like regular type instead of emojis, too. That was really cool.
No, but, to touch on what you were saying, though, I mean, like we're like obviously, I mean, Howie misses on Rager, which we pretty much know. He missed on J-Joel, but you brought up a guy that he definitely, I believe there's 2 guys he hit home runs on this year. Actually 3, because I think Nakobe Dean's going to be really good too. But that Jordan Davis kid is a freaking monster, man.
No, he's killing it. And I don't know, like on Bell and the Birdmen, I ripped the pick at first. I hated it. I was team Kyle Hamilton till I die. I will still die on that hill. I'm not over this yet. But for all the things that Jordan Davis was presented to me as, like before the draft, which was a guy that was like 360, 365. He only played early downs. They didn't know what kind of shape he was going to be in. They listed him at 335 the other night. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was like 335, 336. Like he was light. And for a guy that big, man, and moving around the way he does. And you see the interviews, like he did a great interview with Chris Long, and he absolutely killed it on there. And you hear that guy, and you're like, oh no, I really like this dude, and he does come in shape, and he does put in the extra work, and like everything just says he's so far ahead of the curve already. That kid's going to be crazy good.
Yeah,
It's just no doubt.
He might be worth buying.
Yeah. Oh, I would
Definitely.
guarantee you that Philly's going to be full of 90s by the end of the season. I wouldn't be shocked even a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that like there were a couple of plays, and the other guy I thought looked really good the other night was Cam Jurgens, and it's funny because last week everybody was breaking his balls over the the one rep where Jordan Davis like had him on skates, but you watch Cam Jurgens, dude, like he I don't want to, I'm not. It's only one game, so I'm not going to go crazy. But he looked like a young Kelsey out there the way he was running.
Oh, dude, he was knocking people out, wasn't he? It was awesome. He was just running around, pure ferocity, beating the shit out of people. And, like, it got to this point where you look around, you go, like, yeah, wait, people were mad about this guy as a second-round pick? Like, for what? I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal out there. So the fact that he's not going to play this season for the most part, like you assume he's not going to play a snap, is a crime to Cam Jurgens. Like, that guy should clearly start on so many teams in this league. It's ridiculous. And he's going to have to ride the bench all season.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the work that he put in on that Huntley touchdown. Like he and the two guards on either side of him put in amazing work to be able to create that seam for Huntley to get into the end zone. Like they moved basically two mountains of men to be able to get that lane created.
But I want to jump in real quick. That's not a bad idea, though, that he's going to ride the bench this year, because I guarantee he's going to, as long as Kelsey stays healthy, he's going to learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kelsey's going to be more than willing to.
I think it's actually probably good for him.
Yeah,
it's not going to hurt him, And like, I don't think he's going to get worse sitting on the bench. It's just like and he knows what the deal is. Like they were clearly like, all right, you are the chosen one, you're the next guy, so he knows what's up. But just to have that natural instinct, because I mean, look, he's what, 21, 22. Like he wants to go out there and beat the shit out of people, and he's doing that. And they're going to be like, hey, all right, now sit on the bench all season and watch us do our thing. Like I could it's just like that impulse, like get me out there, man. I feel for him.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the main thing is like, especially a guy at the age that Jurgens is at, like the main thing that's really going to matter now for him in terms of his development, playing behind a guy like a Jason Kelsey, is taking those mental snaps while he's on the sideline. Like understanding the protection that he's supposed to give, being able to see like from the sideline what the lineup looks like for the defense. This is going to be big for him. And then when Kelsey's on the sideline while the defense is out there, being able to impart the knowledge that he has from how long he's played, it's going to be only more beneficial to him in the long run, because you're basically behind, in my opinion, the best center in football. And being able to learn from this guy is going to be amazing for him in terms of development.
Oh, no doubt. It's going to be a huge help, and maybe they can give him the Kyler Murray treatment and let him call a couple of plays on the sideline and really take it to the next level.
Yeah, but it's the NFL. Your number could be called up at any time. God forbid, like suppose something happens to Kelsey, so he could be in there before he knows it.
Yeah, he could start week 1 too, which is there's an outside chance of that.
God forbid there's a game where Jason Kelsey decides to pull a Vontae Davis and just like halftime is just like, I'm done. And they're just like, well, Cam, look, I guess you're up then.
Yeah,
just walks out at halftime.
What's funny though, like not to be pessimistic, but let's be honest though. Every single year, offensive linemen get hurt. I mean, even last year, the Eagles lost Sayamala in the Dallas game, and then you had, Lane Johnson missed a few games for, what do you have? It was like anxiety or something, correct, or something like that.
Depression or something like that.
Depression, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: like, say we're in a game where the Eagles are up by like 30 or 35 points, and they pull the Stars. Would they put him in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kelsey would be one of the first guys they take off the field, if not literally the first. Like it'd be him and Jalen Hurts, and that would be the end of it.
Him, Hurts, and probably Lane, because Kelsey and Lane just because of the age.
Yeah,
and Hurts because of the fact you want to be able to protect your number one. So like having those kinds of guys behind, like having Leaves boy Minshew behind Hurts, who actually really you can just tell from that preseason game, like he has a very strong grasp of this offense. He knows exactly what's supposed to be going on. He moves around very well. So, like, I feel like the knowledge that he can impart on Hurts and the stuff that Hurts can impart onto him, like, it's a very, very two-way street kind of thing between those two guys. So, like, you can still feel mildly confident in, like, you're up 35, like, midway through the fourth quarter. Minshew comes in with Cam Jurgens at center. Like, all right, cool. Like I'm down with that. Let's go.
Yeah, that's where it's. And if you're in a situation like that, that's great. Give me Cam Jurgens and Minshew. Minshew looked all right the other night too. By the way, as much as they said he sucked in camp, they said he looked pretty good the other night. So I'm going to tend to lean with that more than anything. So yeah, let's hope we're in scenarios like that. That's 2017 vibes right there.
Yeah, and I just love having the next man up mentality whenever it happens to like being absolutely necessary, because of the fact like a lot of the guys that we have, like. Sure, like you may not really see them that often, but when you see them in camp, like some of these guys are real dogs, man. Like they'll just go for it. Like you like from practice. What was it the other day? Like seeing what was it?
Dillard,
Derek Barnett, and Andre Dillard just throw blows at each other. Like let's go, dude. Like I am just seeing that. I was like, I am rant. Like let's do this.
Yeah, that was crazy. I love that Dillard's getting fired up like that and getting thrown out of practice. It was like, wow, he's come a long way, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's a totally different guy.
He came a long way from being dangled out there as trade bait to like just throwing blows with Captain Blow and all at the end of the game, Derek Barnett. So like it's really fun to be able to see like these guys are already in like regular season form. Like they want to be out there just like especially the offensive and defensive lines, they want to really battle it out in the trenches. And that's clearly what you saw between Barnett and Dillard is these guys are battling. They're trying to keep their roster spots. They're trying to prove that they still belong on this team. And even if it means they have to actually punch someone in the face to prove it, they're going to do it. Like that's the Philly mentality. And I am all on board for this year.
I know Lee's the same way. He's just punching people in the face all the time. Lee, I respect it.
In his dreams while he's sleeping.
Hey, you know what's funny? You touched on the defensive lines, and I want to get our own Pat as a question here real quick too. But real fast, there was another guy that second year guy Jackson really played well. I think it was Taron
Jackson.
There you go. Yeah, I was looking at him, but he. So you look at the depth on this defensive line is unreal, and then also. It was so nice to see good linebacker play for a change too. I mean, this team might finally have some linebackers.
It's crazy the linebacker depth, man. I mean, when you see Nakobe Dean and what he did in the preseason and go, he's either the third or the fourth linebacker on this team. It's like, oh my God. I mean, like, how good are these guys? Suddenly TJ Edwards has gone from like pretty good and interesting to like, holy crap, he might be amazing. Kaiser White gets the pick. Davion Taylor's apparently figuring everything out. And he was a guy, I mean, the guy had hardly played football. He was playing like once a month in high school, So for a guy like that to be in this situation where now he's in his third year in the league and he feels like everything's slowing down, that's amazing. I mean, their linebacker, they've never cared about linebacker, and it's crazy too because all these guys that they were throwing the dice with, now they're all starting to hit. So it's just like, the depth is unbelievable. Who would have thought?
I know it's great. It's great to not depend on Nate Jerry, Like how awesome is that? I don't have to watch that fucking scrub. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what a legend, Nate Gary. Oh my God, I think he just got cut by somebody, which is amazing that he's still been in the league. I think Seattle maybe had let him go like a week ago. It's crazy, but I swear he's been bouncing around.
You know what's crazy though with improvements on defense and the way the offensive line is. Literally, the Eagles, I could see them being the top offensive line in the NFL and one of the top defenses in the NFL. When was the last time we had both at the same time?
God, I don't think top five on both. I don't think they've ever had that. I don't know. Were they that good in
4 when they went to the Super Bowl? But even then, they were probably second behind New England.
Yeah, maybe back in 04 with that defense and
or maybe even 17. For a fact they were definitely a top tier offensive line. I don't know about the defensive.
Yeah, I would figure top 10 in both. I wasn't sure if they were like top 5 in both. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely top 10 for each. But I don't know about top 5.
Because that's what it takes, right? Like you
top 5 for both.
For this unit, I could see it this year too. Like the defense, I've said it a couple of times lately, and actually, I was reading something earlier today that blew me away. Eagles have spent more money on defense than anybody else in the whole league this year. Like when you pile up their payroll, it is the highest defensive payroll in the NFL.
Let's go.
Which is it's kind of shocking, but then you look around, you're like, oh no, Fletcher Cox is still here. They paid Hargrave before. They paid Sweat like a year or two ago. Maddox got paid a year ago. Like all these different guys, you pile it up, Reddick, and you just look around and go, wow.
Well, the other thing too is just when it's funny when everybody's about to write Howie off, he somehow magically turns everything around. It's crazy.
Howie's good, man.
Yeah, the second that everyone's like, I don't know, he's like, yo, remember that?
I'm ready to do an Eagles fan now, man.
Out of here.
Well, you know what's funny, because Pat says, "Be careful, Vince. Lieb just mushed the team again." And then Mike Fuji, you could check him out on Broad Street South. He said the early 2000s. I probably would say that too. And real quick, Pat has a question here. He says, "Vince, what's your take on Hurts? How do you think Hurts looked the other night?"
Yeah, and I'll answer that in 1 second. First off, shout out to Mike Fuji, star of Twitter for a couple hours the other day. Looking at Jalen Hurts, I mean, look, man, nobody knows what the hell he's going to be. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants to see the guy succeed. He's got all the talent in the world around him. It's the best group of receivers, pass catchers in general I've seen in my lifetime on this team. T.O. Year, Macklin Jackson, I don't care. The top to bottom, it's the best pass catchers we've ever had, Philly. For me, I'm 32. Yeah. So take it for what it is. Yeah. It's just, is he going to be accurate? How much can he anticipate? Is he willing to throw to the middle of the field? And can Sirianni scheme an offense up that does that? I mean, they had games last year where they literally had that game where they didn't use motion once. I don't know if he's been good at designing pass plays, frankly. Like, it just doesn't seem like the creativity's fully been there either. So it's a really complicated spot. If it works out, I mean, I think his upside is somewhere as a top 10 quarterback. I think that's pretty reasonable given what this team is and what he can do as a rusher. And on the downside, he's probably somewhere around 22 would be the absolute floor, I think. But I don't know. I wish I knew, because if I did, I'd place a bet on the Super Bowl odds. But I don't, and so I just gotta wonder like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, and just like you were saying, like I'm the same age as you, so like as awesome as the Jackson Macklin era was, I am so looking forward to seeing how AJ Brown, Quez Watkins, and Zach Pascal do with Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts, you can tell just from this offseason, like he's been working a lot on his accuracy and his arm strength, and he's been just during practice alone, he's laced some stuff in there that like you would not think that he would be able to do. So like now it's just at the point like, if you're already on board with the defense and you were unsure about the offense, like if you just watch what you've seen from practice and just this one preseason game, the one series that Hurts has had, like this he's definitely developed from last year for sure.
Well, like, all the pressures on him this year. This is, I mean, he's got to show that he belongs here. It's going to be, he has the monkey on his back.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. I mean, look, if you get the quarterback position as a whole and you just put it out of the equation, you look at the rest of the roster, is it a Super Bowl roster? Yeah. It's really that simple. The rest of the team is a Super Bowl roster. So it's just, where is he? Is he good enough? And the fact that he's got all that money coming next year, if he plays his cards right, it's now or never. I mean, it's just a simple fact of the matter. It's now or never for Jalen Hurts. He's got to do it now. He's got to prove that he's the guy. And if he's not, you look around at the rest of this team and go, all right, are we going to roll the dice on another rookie? Do we get a cheap vet? Not to say Jimmy Garoppolo, because I don't want to say Jimmy Garoppolo. I absolutely do not. But are you looking at a guy like that? Like, I don't know. But for now, I mean, he's got the keys to a great team. There we go. Minshew time. You're already benching it for Minshew. I love it, Lee. I love it.
We will always respect the stash.
Yeah, he's got a man crush on Minshew. So
I
don't know.
Minshew fever, man.
I don't get it.
And that's strange to say. He's all about facial hair, but never once says anything about any of this. None of this gets mentioned ever.
Well, it's a gorgeous beard, and shame on Lieb for not complimenting.
Hey, Vinny, you want to buy me Minshew's? Isn't he selling his mobile home that he was living in?
Oh, the prison bus, yeah. And I think for that benching Hurts take already, I think you should be in prison, Lieb. I mean, come on, man. You got to give me some more time.
Prison bus.
Coy Det, remember? Not Coy. Was it Coy Detmer or
Detmer.
Yeah, didn't Coy Detmer live out of like a Volkswagen or something?
Yeah, I just remember he had a time where he was on the road. I forget what year it was, but they interviewed him. And he was like, "Yeah, when I'm on road trips, all I pack is my toothbrush." Yuck! And it was like, "Wait, what? What's going on with Coy Detmer?"
We're in the same clothes every day.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know what's funny? Mitchew's bus looks like it should be on an episode of Cops. Like all those episodes of Cops were like from Florida, and it looks like Mitchew's bus should be on that, John.
It's actually the RV from Breaking Bad, and They're going to arrest Minshew any moment.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
yeah. You're opening and you got like the 70s porn music playing inside.
70 porn music playing with the door open. He's like, I'm the one who knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing is, though, Lieb wants to be the guy bringing the pizza.
Shows like Minshew steps out in nothing but his underwear and a button up.
You love Gardner Minshew, man. I don't even think people in Boston blow Tom Brady as much as you blow Carson Minshew.
Carson Minshew, wow.
Carson Minshew.
I know what. You know what? I know. I'm my mind's all messed up here. But
that would be an amazing fusion of a man, though. Bad knees and an amazing mustache. Oh wait, that's Gardner Minshew already. It's fine.
Yeah. But hey, listen, Vinny, I really appreciate you hopping on, man. Thanks for taking the time. And why don't you tell everybody out there where everybody can check you and John out.
Yeah, so we're called Bell and the Birdmen is what we go by. So I'll say that again, Bell and the Birdmen, because it's a bit of a funny name. But Apple, Spotify making a big push on YouTube this year. We're doing some bonus stuff on there. And we're going to be on the road all season. We're going with Philly sports trips all over the place. So if you want to figure out about the trips, how to support the show, check us out wherever bellandthebirdmen.com is where you can go. Yep.
Are you going to be at any local bars or anything?
So we're not doing anything at a local bar, but what we are doing is actually on Sundays for game day, we're going to be in the Navy Yard. So the gatehouse down in the Navy Yard, we're going to be running massive tailgates down there, and we've got all this different kind of product in terms of beer, alcohol, food. It's a massive thing. It's going to be all you can eat, all you can drink. It's going to be completely insane. So yeah, we'll be keeping everybody updated on that and how to buy tickets. But every single home game will be at the Navy Yard. And we'll be doing some live streaming as well. So, yeah, bellandthebirdmen.com for all that. And, fellas, it's been good to see you again. It's nice to meet you as well. It's been a good time. So, yeah, good to see you, and go Birds.
Always good to be able to talk shop with you,
Thanks for hopping on, bro.
All right, take it easy.
See ya. Yeah,
Great
that was
stuff,
fun.
Benny.
Yeah, that was fun. I was
a huge fan of his back when he was on WIP. I would listen to his show all the time. So, like, being able to actually just talk Eagles with him was like, just for me personally, that was a real big like fanboy moment for me, because I did the same thing with Bartram, because I used to listen to him all the time too. So like being able to just like, because anytime I would drive around, like I'm not like, if I listen to music, it's like stuff from like the early 2000s. So I'm never actually listening to like regular radio. So I'm always just rocking like WIP or the Fanatic, whichever one I happen to find like more interesting in terms of the debates that they're having. And I would always tune into WIP more than anything. It was my predominant choice, because I was like, yeah, I can just hit the button for MMR and then just switch over really quick. Bang, done. So like getting to hear those guys and then be able to actually like, for the time that we did be able to work with them was really cool to be able to just like get like the information from them about like how they had saw their success and all that kind of stuff. Being able to actually sit down and just talk about the sports in general with Vince and with John has always been an amazing time for me. So like, I'm very happy that I got a chance to actually sit in and talk with Vince on this.
Yeah, he was fun. He was actually on a couple of nights ago. Real late night. I heard him. He was on WIP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. We got our man Paul Spencer checking in. You can check Paul out on the Out of Box Network. He does a 215 We Them Boys show about the Cowboys. He also does a UFC.
Then he also does
UFC show. And also, I have to give a shout out. Myself, Paul Spencer, Mike Lauro, and our man Joey Woods, we are going to be doing on Wednesday nights. We're going to be doing a college football show. Ooh, so any college fans out there, check that out.
Let's go Irish.
Yeah, you're a Notre Dame fan too?
Oh yeah. Them and Penn State are like the only two college football teams that I really follow.
Yeah, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, man.
Aside from them, like I still follow University of Penn, because my dad used to always take me and my brothers down to Franklin Field to catch a game every once in a while, and like just being down there at Franklin Field was always an amazing experience.
Oh, I love Frank. Yeah, I went down there a few times. I went down there back in 2003. I saw Penn Princeton.
Nice.
I remember. Yeah, it was cool because it was like, but it was freezing cold, but it was cool. We got Mike Laura. We are, baby.
Penn State.
Yeah. Mike Laura, the Penn State fan. But now you know what? I want to finish up on some Eagles talk a little bit. Let me just get a me just check something out here. Oh, hang on. I've got one more comment. Whoops. Paul Spencer's an Irish fan too. So he said, let's go Irish. Say he knows what's up. But yeah, I guess this area is mostly Penn State fans. But like I said, I'm a Notre Dame
predominantly.
fan. Well, we're making a plan. We're looking. We're gonna do Notre Dame, Boston College, and then Eagles, Colts the next day.
Yeah, it's gonna be
hell yeah.
That now that's a sports trip right there.
Yeah,
That's
that's one hell of a weekend.
It's gonna be a great weekend.
God dang.
What's this? I love weed. Go Cowbucks.
The username. Like, thank you.
I know, that's great. I'll always put up a comment from somebody that says I love weed. That's pretty fun. You go there, you get he's probably a Minshew fan too. You know, if the
I need to see this guy's content. Like, if he makes his own content, I need to see what he puts up.
Pat Bernard, Rudy was a horrible movie. Go Penn State. Just kidding. Yeah. You know what's funny? The opposing teams usually have the sign that says Rudy was offsides.
Yeah.
If you ever see like opposing teams in Notre Dame, they always have that. Like, oh, Rudy was offsides. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I can't help it. I love the movie Rudy. In fact,
It's such a good film.
Well, one of the things we do when you go out there, there's a bar called Corby's, and Corby's is where is where they have the bar scenes in Rudy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so usually the plan is like the Notre Dame, like usually the plan is you get out to campus, walk around campus. They have a place called Legends, which is pretty cool. That's like right on the campus, and you can get something to eat, slam some beers, kind of pregame a little bit. And then at nighttime you go to Corby's. And the thing about Corby's, which is really awesome, is there's people from all over the, you're at a Notre Dame game. There's people from all over the country. Like the last time we were down there was 2012. We saw Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn walking around. Yeah. And it's real cool too, because like, they have a thing where the band plays, and what's really cool is the band walks into the stadium, and then people follow the band into the stadium. It's like real cool.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's like badass,
cool.
man. Yeah, it's badass. So, yeah, man. Like it's the last time me and Lee, 2012, we actually didn't even I've been to the stadium a few times, but the last time we didn't even bother going to the game. We hung in the parking lot for like 3 hours, and we were there with like people from Chicago.
Oh, we were partying.
We were throwing it down like the fire marshal. It was like, you know what I mean? And I actually bought. There was a couple dudes there from Dallas, and they were really cool. They were Cowboys fans, but they were from Dallas. So I made a joke. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a Dallas fan a shot. You know what I mean? Because they were, you know what I mean? Like they were cool.
They were real Cowboys fans, not like the frauds up here.
I
have a couple of friends that are Cowboys fans, so I always rag on them every once in a while. The one dude literally at one point back when like the Cowboys were having like a bit of a rough stretch, I think it was around the time that the Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl. He literally posted on Facebook, he's like, I think I might be done as a Cowboys fan. Go Seahawks. So every single time that he starts talking about the Cowboys being slightly bad, we're like, oh, dude, you gotta be rooting for the Seahawks now.
Wow, that's funny. Paul Spencer with a nice
always
little
just
burn here.
Balls on that. It's always a fun time.
Yeah, Paul Spencer with a nice little burn here. He goes, does Penn State even have a movie? Oh, that's right, the Sandusky Trials. It's pretty fun.
Bro. Oh,
wait. Oh, hang on. Now we're gonna have Penn State. We're gonna have Notre Dame and Penn State were huge rivals back in the day. Now Mike Laura goes, yeah, they do. Paterno. And then my man, I love weed. He said, buy me a bowl. and then he's Dallas and Ohio State. I hit like later, guys. All right, later, bro. Thanks for checking in.
Appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, man, you know what? I mean, so we got what are we about 20 some days from opening day, right? So we got a big month.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
what, September 11th, right?
Yeah, September 11th.
Oh my goodness. Less than a month now.
It's Crazy.
Just counting the days.
Wow. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? So like not to bring up a bad, but you said the date, so it got me to thinking, like, not to bring up a really, really sad subject, but do you realize that somebody that was born on September 11th is now old enough to drink as of this September 11th? It's been 21 years.
That's insane to think of.
You believe
like,
that? I mean,
yeah.
I literally can't believe that, because when you said the season starts September 11th, I'm looking and it's 2022. So that means that was 21 years ago. So if somebody was born on that day, they can legally drink.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Might as well crack one for everybody that we lost that day, man. Jeez. That's
I know.
Insane. Rudy was soft.
Mike Laura, Rudy was soft.
Sean Astin is never soft. He carried Frodo to Mordor, dude. Take it easy.
Yeah, he'll be in Detroit, hopefully. Paul Spencer, all right, gentlemen, back to coaching. Awesome show. Thank you very much, bro.
Thank you, Paul, appreciate you checking in, man.
Ken Fry, you could check him out. He's also on the Out of Box Network. He does a Vegas show. It's pretty interesting. He said still seems like yesterday.
It really does. I still remember exactly where I was when that happened. I actually showed up to school late that day. I was in the 7th grade. I was going to a distant elementary in Northeast Philly, and I walked in late, walked into my English class, and was like, everyone's really eerily quiet. And as I walked through the classroom, I looked up at the TV off to my right, up like hanging up on the wall, and they just had ABC on, and I watched the first tower fall. And I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I was working at a cell phone store over in Jersey, and I remember that morning going into work, driving over the Tacony Bridge. Dude, it was like a ghost town, man. It was the eeriest feeling like ever.
Yeah, and like they're like when everything happened, they were like, we're gonna let you all leave early to like just be with your family for this. And like a bunch of people were like really excited that they were leaving school early. I literally, like, in my brain, I was like, bro, we were attacked. Like, there's no reason to be like super stoked about getting out of school at 10:30 in the morning when you literally watched two of the largest buildings in the country just topple like they were houses of cards.
You know, I have a really weird, ironic story too. So I've been at the same company, like where I work. I work at a computer company, and I've been there for 23 years. So here, I was on the phone, and I called. I was looking for the specific part, and nobody in Disty had this part, right? So I called this place. I believe it was called Broadway Computers or something, right? And it was totally random because I just happened to be on the internet looking for this part, and they said they had it. So I'm on the phone, and they were right around the corner from the World Trade Center, this place.
Oh, shit.
And this dude answers the phone, and he's like, yo, man. He's like, I don't know if you saw the news. He's like, a plane hit the World Trade Center. And at the time, this was the first John, right? Yeah. So at the time, I'm like, oh, my God, well, how the hell did that happen? Isn't it sunny up there? You know what I mean? Like, because at the time, we didn't know it was attacked. And I was like, oh, shit, what's it, like a small plane? Maybe somebody had a heart attack or something. But it was just like so random because what are the odds? Like I was actually on the phone with somebody that was like around the corner from that John, you know what I mean? And then obviously after that, then my grandmother called and was like, she was watching the news. She's like, we're under attack. And then I remember that day there was like rumor after rumor. Like my girlfriend at the time, I was dating this girl, Chrissy, and she worked in Center City. And I remember like, you know, they were like, oh, we're evacuating Center City. Like, you know, like, remember they said somebody was going to attack the Sears Tower. I mean, it was just wild, you know?
Yeah. Like it literally, like right after it happened, like every single large municipal building in every major city was just like, yo, we're getting everyone the fuck out of here now. So like they literally just like the whole like interior of Philly became a ghost town. Like I remember like 10 o'clock watching the 10 o'clock news, and like they did the shot of Center City to like normally you see people walking around because like it's right near the end of summer, so like a lot of people are out enjoying the weather. It was a ghost town down by City Hall, and you never see that.
Yeah,
so like it was one of those weird like eerie things of like to see like what normally like a place that's just like bustling with people just be completely empty was very surreal at the time. Like not too long after that, like getting into like my gaming thing, you can check me out on that Thursdays at 10:30 p.m. it was one of those things like right after that, Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, and one of the main things they show is like they give you a quick shot of the skyline of New York right before Solid Snake jumps off of the Verrazano Bridge onto this tanker. They actually delayed the game a bit to remove the towers. So like to be like, oh man, they may actually have them in there, and then you start the game and you see it and you go, oh yeah, that's right, it's not there anymore. So like even to this day, like I'll boot it up on my PlayStation and I'll be like, man, it's crazy to think this game came out like 7.5 months after that because they had to delay it. Like they were literally slated to release it like the 15th of September, and then that happened. They were like, nope, can't do it. Like, and this is a Japanese company, and they're like, no, we can't do that to America. No, hell no. So they literally took the game back, programmed that out, sent it back out, and got it published and put out in the stores.
Yeah, you know what I remember vividly too, because we're going to get ready to wrap up in a minute, but I remember a few nights later, driving down the boulevard, and they had all kinds of lights in the middle of the boulevard.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean,
yeah.
like that. Like that. Obviously, like that was a horrible time. You know what I mean? Like,
Really
obviously, I don't have to be Captain Obvious here, but like I felt like the country really came together at that point, though. You know what I mean? Like there was
did.
You saw American flags like everywhere, you know, and you know what's ironic too. I actually had to go to New York on to a client's with my grandfather. I had a truck full of computers the very week after 9/11. I went up there. So you want to talk? You want to talk about eerie? Like first off, like obviously the security was like out of this world. Like first, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I wasn't exactly thrilled with going through the tunnel because like the tunnel would be like the perfect target for a terrorist.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? So we're going through that.
Like that's the perfect spot,
right? And so you would cripple that city. So like we have to go through the tunnel. So here they're like they search the truck and everything. And like honestly, I was cool with it because I was like, yeah, search away, man. I don't want to get blown the hell. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what else is really sad that you're finding out now is a lot of those firefighters and police that helped volunteer to go through the rubble. A lot of them are dying now from cancer, from all
from lung
the
cancer,
stuff that they breathed in. So a lot of those people are dying today from what happened back then.
If I remember correctly, I think two of the last fistful of like firefighters and emergency responders just recently passed from that too.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, Mike Laura with a point here. He goes, the craziest thing was looking up and not seeing planes. Yeah, that's true. And then Ken Fry here, he says he must have been a little kid maybe. He says, I was watching Little House on the Prairie on TNT eating Fruity Pebbles. Well, actually, you know what? Yo, I can't front shit. I'd eat Fruity Pebbles as an adult, so maybe
because he was out in Vegas. So technically out there, everything would have gone down before he even had to be in school. So if he's a younger guy, he was probably sitting at home, like getting himself ready to go to school and seeing all this unfold.
Yeah. And I still think to the day today that even though they said that the passengers sacrificed their lives to bring the plane down, the one that crashed in Pennsylvania,
Flight 93.
I still think that was taken down by the government. I mean, we'll never know, but
it could have been a bit of column A, a bit of column B. Like the people in the plane managed to like divert from where they were supposed to go, and there was a possibility of like it being just having to be essentially forcefully grounded. So like it's definitely a possibility that there was like a combination of the two things. But either way, like just hearing that story, like being able to like know that had actually happened, where like a person called his wife and they're like, we're gonna fucking take this guy down. Like, we don't give a shit. Like if we're gonna die, we need to die knowing that we actually tried to make a difference here. And like that's like the ultimate like hero line of an actual person that I've ever heard in my life. Like we're gonna go get him.
Yeah, but anyway, hey, we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. But before we do, let me give a shout out to our sponsors here. We got the Birds bus trip to DC, September 25th versus Washington. So you can go down there and hammer Carson Wentz if you want. Only $325 gets you a lower level ticket, bus, food, drink, entertainment. It's www.phillysportstrips.com. Anybody out there with any legal questions or problems, check out our guy, David R. Cherry, Esquire. Workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. You could call them at 610-565-0300, or you could go online at www.cherryinjurylaw.com. Make sure you check out all the shows on Edge of Philly Sports and the Painted Lines. Hey, you know what? I was going to say this is a good thing because there's so many shows on here. Just take a quick little look. I'm not going to announce them all, but I'll leave them up here. So make sure you check out all those shows. And
Attack of the Third.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to say, check out the attacking. Yeah, check out the attack. Yeah, my man Austin, check out the attacking third. And check out all of them as well.
Yeah,
and,
definitely do. Amazing group of guys. We're super excited to be a part of this, and I'm honestly still riding the wave of like I can't believe this is actually still happening. Like I'm still sort of like stuck in that whole thing of like I've actually put in I'm not to discredit anyone else in Denver sports. I put in a ton of work to be able to just see a passion of mine be able to finally come to fruition in some sort of way. To have a guy like Al be like, "Yo, Pat, that soccer show you got, bro, need that." Like that for me is like an amazing confidence boost personally, because like I literally did it because I was like, my dad was a huge fan of soccer. You know, it was something that like he and my brother Alex brought me into, and I've loved it ever since they did. And to finally be able to be like, yo, your passion for soccer is very necessary for my programs. It is for me personally. It's just amazing. Like, just because like I feel like a lot of the time, like I don't know as much as like Gus does. Gus literally grew up with this shit ingrained in his blood. So like for me to be like, oh yeah, I know soccer, and then have Gus be like, dude, check this out. I'm like, oh shit, like let's go, bud. So like it's been amazing. I will be forever grateful for Al to be willing to bring us on as a part of his programming here on Edge of Philly. And especially for you guys out there that are watching and commenting and all that stuff, sharing everything out and whatnot. Because like, it was just a passion project for me. It was more just one of those things I was just like, yeah, fuck it. I'll talk soccer for an hour once a week. Like, yeah, why not? And like, it started off as an hour, just me. And then it became me and Gus talking for a half an hour. And I was like, cool, dude. Like, we can cut it down. It's like, it's a lot easier. And then we got this whole thing with Edge of Philly, and Pat's like, dude, just run with it. So like, just being able to like pump out the articles and be able to still talk about it. Like, I'm super excited. I'm still just as excited now as I was leading into the first show. Like, granted, I took a bit of time off because, work got kind of hectic for me. A couple of things happened with our department. So like, I kind of had to pick up extra shifts and stuff. So like, I wasn't able to pump out the articles like I used to. But this week I was like, you know what? I don't care. I was up until 5 a.m, like getting that article done to put out on EOPsports.com. And I just appreciate the fact like everyone's, willing to check out the stuff that I write. I will openly admit I am not a writer at all. Like, I am way better with actual words than I am with putting them onto paper. So like being able to be like, you know what, let me give this a shot. And like seeing like everyone see people like sharing my stuff out and stuff. I'm like, this is really fucking cool. And
yeah, man, that's cool. Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, just big shout outs to Big Al running EOP, wanting to bring us in. And I'm just ever grateful, and will continue to show how grateful I am, not only in the work that I do, but just actually openly admitting like I am consistently grateful.
All right, great. Well, hey, we're gonna get right. We're gonna sign on out here. I'll just put the shows up one more time for people to look at. So have a great week, everybody. Go Phillies, go Eagles, and
get ready for party on Broad at 9. Let's go, boys.
Let's go. See you guys.